Yo, what's up? It's me, it's D Wood. As many of you know, haven't been posting videos in a while, and I've explained the situation in live streams and such, but in case you don't know what's been going on, we have 5 sons, 2 of them are special needs, and normally we have nurses to help out with our kids. So we have a nurse who comes in on weekdays normally, we have a nurse that comes in on weeknights normally, and we have a nurse that comes in on weekends normally. And so we have help normally. And anyway, a few months ago, we lost basically 2.5 of our nurses. One had to cut back her hours, and we lost the other 2. And so when that happens, we've been through that before, and I take over as night nurse, and Marie takes care of the kids during the day. And normally that's for a while, just until you get new nurses, because nurses do move on and so on. But it's taken a lot longer than normal. There's some sort of nursing shortage. At first I thought it was because of COVID, like maybe nurses are needed elsewhere. Now that I'm seeing help wanted signs everywhere, I think it's just part of a general work shortage, like worker shortage. Like there aren't enough people to work because people have gotten used to not working during the pandemic. So anyway, hopefully this clears up here pretty soon, but yeah, we have a nurse back on weekdays now. We still don't have a nurse on weekends, and we have a nurse kind of randomly at night, but basically in these situations, I'm the night nurse. And so that's what I've been doing for the past several months. It's hard to make videos on that schedule, but basically I read at night, and then during the day I sleep, and then when I wake up in the evening, I've been on a workout schedule to try and get some health concerns taken care of, so I've been focusing on that. Anyway, started getting back to videos now. What I do now is I record right before everyone else goes to bed, and then I edit at night. So that's how I was able to start making videos again. Anyway, so that's what's been going on here. And I mentioned back in January that we kind of need to get a lift installed here. I'm at the park now. I would normally be sleeping right now, but I just had a dentist appointment, so that's the only reason I'm awake. So I came over here with to the park with my son Reed here. And so we need to get a lift installed in this van. I mentioned that back in January because we've been using this sort of folding ramp just because it was pretty cheap. It was a few $100s and so on, and we just push them in their wheelchairs up there. The problem is Reed and Paley have been getting bigger. Keep in mind, this their disease is considered terminal, so most kids die from it pretty early on. When Reed was born, they told us he had a 50% chance of seeing his first birthday, told us he had a 30% chance of seeing his second birthday. Reed's 13 now, so beating all the odds, so that's cool. It's been kind of a rough road for him and his brother, but they just keep beating the odds. But anyway, they've been getting bigger, and we have these push wheelchairs, and we go up this ramp. And basically last November, my wife went over the edge coming down, and there's no injuries or anything, but it could have ended up a lot worse going over the edge of that ramp, because if you're not kind of lined up perfectly and that weight hits you, then if you're not lined up perfectly, it just sort of pushes you over the edge. And we've known for a while that we need to put a lift in there. We actually have power wheelchairs. They're about 400 pounds each. They're not going up that ramp. So you'd have to have a lift installed, and I don't know why this is, but I thought it wouldn't be terribly expensive. I mean, this is just in my own head. I'm thinking it's a little tiny elevator that lifts something off the ground into the back of the van. How much can it be? So I was thinking that this would be like $2,500 or $3,500, in which case I wouldn't need to ask for any help. But it turns out to be way more complicated than that. The lift is more expensive than that, and they basically gut the back of this van. They have to tear up the floor, lay down reinforced floor, because you got 2 wheelchairs that are 400 pounds each. They're gonna put a locking mechanism in there so that when the wheelchair goes in, there's a lock on the bottom of the power chair that just locks it in place as soon as it gets inside the van. And So that's way better, because right now we just use bungee cords when we bring the wheelchairs in there. So they have to do other stuff like move around air ducts and so on. So they basically gut the entire thing. Anyway, the actual estimate on getting this thing ready for these power chairs is $21,400. Now that's more than I've got. In theory, insurance is supposed to cover $5,000. At least as we're reading the policy, it looks like they're supposed to cover $5,000 of it. My wife's contacted them a bunch of times, haven't been able to get the ball rolling on that, haven't been able to get them to do anything about that. We're thinking probably now do a GoFundMe, and if we can get it covered, then we'll just go ahead and get it all done and then try to deal with insurance afterwards. So in theory, it's $16,400, but as far as actually getting it done right now, $21,400 is what it takes. And so wanted to put out a GoFundMe for anyone who wants to chip in. You know, it's kind of a funny situation. Like when I was growing up, I wouldn't ask anyone for anything, unless it was like family or something like that, but other people, and I wouldn't take anything from anyone else. I wouldn't accept anything that anyone offered. I would steal from people. I would steal their stuff. I would break into their houses and steal from people. But if someone offered me something, I would never take it. I would never ask. Even if I went over to someone's house, another kid's house, and they were having dinner and they say, "Hey, we're having dinner," I would say that I ate already, even if I hadn't, because I didn't want to take any food from them. I don't know what that is. I don't know what kind of weird pride that was, that I didn't want to accept anything from someone else that I wasn't just taking from them. But that continued on for a long time. And then when I started going out and doing stuff, when I would need something, when I would need a new camera or something, and I would ask for it on YouTube, I had to like psych myself up to ask people to help me get a camera. I was like, hey, they obviously want you to do a good job. They want you to make good videos. They're happy to help, so go ahead and ask for a camera. So I had to like ask myself, I had to psych myself up to go ahead and ask for something. But anyway, there was that weird form of, I don't know, pride, whatever it was, but man, that's gotten just ripped out of me over the years after having Reed and Paley, because now it's a situation where, man, if they need something and I ain't got it and I can't give it to them, I will not hesitate to ask for help. So anyway, we're setting up a GoFundMe right after I record this, and if you want to chip in, please chip in. Now, guys, I know it's been a pandemic. A lot of people have had a rough year. So if you're having a rough year, please do not chip in. But some people aren't having any problems right now, and so if anyone wants to chip in, you can chip in, and I'll go ahead and. They said they can start as soon as we have the money, so should be able to do it. They said it takes about 2 weeks, and so as soon as if we can get this covered, then I'll take the van over there. They'll fix it up, and then I'll post some footage of the new tricked out van and how the wheelchairs work out with this. So links in the description box.
Got these good boys. Hey, talking to you.